Good morning, this is totally random.
Featuring Franz Maruna and Andrew Embler.
Hello, welcome to Totally Random. This is your weekly news and chit-chat show about Concrete5. Today is July something-ish. 6th?
Yeah.
6th. Today's the 6th. I'm Franz, this is Andy. This is your exciting opportunity to ask us questions about how Concrete5 works and how we would make things with it. And this is our exciting opportunity to share news and adventures and tidbits and stuff with you. So jumping right into it, not a tremendous amount of news, but a little bit of news. We are playing with the pricing of our own add-ons for the first time in, honestly, years. So Julia's in there and she's moving prices around. Some things are getting more expensive. Most things are getting a lot cheaper. So you definitely want to keep an eye on that as it changes over the coming months. We've also made a few of our own add-ons free. So voting contest, image gallery, image slider, ticker, something else. What's the other one? Gallery block, flash gallery. Free. You don't need to sell those. Plenty of galleries out there that you can buy. There's a lot of great ones. Ours is okay. That was free. So that's nice. Go ahead and play with those. There's good code examples.
Hey, do we put the source of those up on GitHub, or at least probably going to?
Yeah, we was talking about doing that. That should happen, but they're free, so you can just download and get the source that way too. In other news, I've been working with our good friend Ollie Phillips in the UK, and doing some training with him and stuff, and he's working on a pretty cool project. Thought I'd just quickly share. I don't know if I got you that link to the press those guys got, Matt, with the IFA portals. That's the one. These guys are actually have migrated away from .NET Nuke and are using Concrete5 to provide content management to financial planners, I believe. IFA portals, yeah, financial advisor types. And so what these guys do is they let financial advisor run their own website, and then all this company comes along and says, oh yeah, you can say that or you can't say this. Provide some level of kind of compliance. Compliance is the right word. Yeah, I was going to say fact checking, but it's really more kind of marketing compliance, as I understand it. Yeah. To be able to build all that on top of Concrete5, very cool. Sort of type of enterprise level thing that you can do with Concrete5 as a framework. It's not just for pretty little sites.
Yeah, he's actually done a tremendous amount of technical. He's done a lot of technical things with that. The way he is describing it, he's writing a case study.
Yeah, he's writing a case study with us. It was just fresh in my mind this morning, working with him on a case study, and I saw this in the press. So, good job, Ollie. Yeah. IFA. I think that's the news. What else we got news? No, that's the news. Let's do some karma.
And the weekly karma winners, come on down.
All right. Do you want to do the machine? Or you want to look at pictures, Matt? I'll leave it up to you as you were driving.
I think we're gonna do the machine first.
Let's do the machine. Let's see. Has someone won?
They sure have.
All right.
We got Jero winning a copy of the specifications table builder for helping.
Thanks for helping.
And we got CSS Ninja winning a copy of the ad server for promoting Concrete5.
Excellent. Thank you for telling your friends.
And then we got Manio winning a copy of the Dojo Page Filter Pro for doing work.
Excellent. Thanks for doing the work, and thanks Dojo for submitting one of your add-ons for the Karma prizes. That's great. If anybody else wants to submit their stuff for Karma prizes, it's a great way to get add-ons that you're selling in front of kind of leading community members. Yeah. In fact, community leaders, being the explicit term. Thank you.
We got some pics.
Let's do that.
Check them out.
This one's from Gabs. This is on the window in their office.
Nice. Improves the view, I would say.
And then this one's from Rocket Number 9. We have a sticker on a laptop.
Love it.
That's an Android E and Apple. Sweet.
Nice. Thank you. And as always, I will repeat that if you would like stickers as well, we will happily send them to you for no charge at all. Simply go to our own website and the Marketplace tab, and from there you will find a swag page towards the bottom of that page, you'll find a form field, and in that form field, you'll put a mailing address. That mailing address is an address that we would actually mail something to. When we say mail, we mean in the mail, like the real mail. There's no E, there's no I, there's no, what other kinds of mail are there?
I think that about
That's
covers
about
it.
it. No
X. No X mail.
We're not sending you X
No
mail.
AOL mail.
No AOL
Apple
mail, no CompuServe mail, just actual mail. So it's got like a zip code and a country and that kind of thing. We'll send you a sticker and we'll burn your address. So there it is. Thank you, and of course you can send us a picture of where you stuck the sticker, or perhaps the sticker just showed up somewhere in the wild and you happen to take a picture of it.
Those are always nice as well.
Those are exciting. But that's nice. Let's see if we can have some fun in the forums, Matt.
Introducing Fun in the Forums!
All right.
Bring it on in.
Let's do this thing. First off, we've got some file invalid problems with downloads from File Manager. It's a long post, so I'm just going to kind of read some words from every paragraph. I'm using 542, documents, business, added file, and noticed a link had been added to the File Manager, an Excel file. Add a file button, that's how we did it. It was great. Resulting link text showed as blah blah blah, view, some number.
Extra numbers.
Extra numbers, published page, numbers changed a little bit.
Crazy links.
Tried to download it.
HTML.
Sometimes it worked and it didn't. I looked at the HTML, got some crazy links with like a bracket, CCM:FID_DL_1220. Kind of not a concern since it functions, blah blah blah. Download didn't work. Zip archive. I got a zip archive. Why do I get a zip archive? URLs are wrong. I'm guessing the download process is corrupting the files. Can you post some browser information? Someone replies, says, yeah, it doesn't look like it's browser specific. Well,
Alright.
we have some ideas.
We do. For the most part, it actually sounds like everything is functioning pretty much the way it's supposed to. So when you insert a link to a file in concrete5's content block, what you're actually doing is you're inserting a special sort of placeholder URL in the text that looks crazy, and so you could actually see an example of this in this post. It's the one that starts with a bracket. And what we do with that is we save this placeholder in the content block, and then behind the scenes when we render the text for people to view, we swap that out with an actual link to a file. And what that lets us do is it lets us not hard code a link to something in case your site moves, or you move your site from a relative portion of your web server to the absolute one. You don't have to worry about your links breaking.
Right.
So you wouldn't.
Or if you update the file version.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah. Exactly. This still takes into account all the file versions and things like that.
Yeah.
And so. So that's what the placeholder does, and the portion of the URL where the number is being added to the end. So what's actually happening there is when we track file downloads, so you can see them in the dashboard on the file statistics. We track not only what file's being downloaded, but also what page that's being downloaded from. Mm-hmm. So those two numbers in this post, the first one is the file ID that's going to be downloaded, that Excel file, and the second one is the actual ID of the page that it sits on. So you could place this on multiple pages. They would all tabulate they would all sum up for the one file being downloaded, but we'd keep track of which page was getting the most downloads as well. Mm-hmm. And then finally, the actual problem in this post, I think we've seen before. I believe it is caused by uploading a newer file, version of an Excel file from a version of the software that is newer than the one that's trying to open it. So Excel at a certain point changed their file formats. All of Office did this to be sort of like zip archives, like they are bundles of files.
They are zip archives.
Yeah, they just have their own special extension. So on versions of Windows that don't have Office, whatever it is, installed, they look like zip archives, and Excel doesn't know how to open them. But if you get a newer copy of Office, it should be fine. Or if you save the old file in a Excel 97 or Excel, an older copy of Office. Should be
Opening a new file in an old version of the app.
Yep,
That's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
We believe.
that's what I think.
Yeah. I'd buy it.
Because I've seen this with Word. All those docx extensions are
Yeah, just that
actually
4-letter extension with the doc, and
Yeah.
that's what you're looking at.
Yeah.
And That's what I think this one is.
Yeah.
All right, moving right along. We'll do this other technical one first, then we'll get into the deployment one. So the third URL I sent you, Matt, pulling data out.
Yes.
You'd be so kind. Pulling data out of concrete5. So part of my CMS says content which is concrete5, and there's another part that's going to be 100% code using the Zen framework. Good choice. What I want to be able to do is use the header and footer from concrete5 in my Zen framework app. I still allow the header and footer to be editable from concrete5, so it uses stacks and other good stuff, but just depend on that from my Zen app.
Yeah.
So is there a way I can do that? I just kind of want to like have libraries that I can load into Zen that would render the concrete5 header and footer, but not deal with everything else.
Yeah. You're
cool
gonna have
idea,
to,
yes
yeah,
and no.
You are going to have to write some custom code for this.
Yes.
It would be possible. We were talking about this before and kind of have an idea on this. What I think we would do is we create a custom, and it sounds like there might be some bit of. Well, no, they're going.
Yeah, JPX says, oh, you can build single pages,
Yeah,
do it all inside of concrete5. That's
yeah.
flattering, but I can see why you would want to do things inside of Zen.
No, totally. So what we would actually do is we would build one single page, or even just a page that's blank, that lives somewhere that's hidden from the rest of the site because it's blank. You're not going to want to browse to it. But it will be accessible from a public URL, which is the most important part. And so if you called this page, what you would do is you would include the header and footer on this page like any other page. And then you'd include some kind of HTML comment in the content on the page. And all that would do is denote where the sort of inner area that you wanted to put the Zen stuff into was. And then you would use some kind of custom script from the Zen side. I'm sure they have some way to process a HTTP request without actually loading up a browser, like thinking of wget, but there might be something native built into Zen framework to do this without having to use a separate app. But we would request that page, get the HTML from that page, and then use that page as the header and footer for your Zen framework app. And then you probably want to cache that periodically, or even make it cache forever, and then run a process that rebuilt that cache if you changed your site, just because you might have some slowness if you did that.
Yeah,
but
just to make it
probably would be
some
that
type of
better.
caching layer would make sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, so make a blank page, put some type of comment in there that you can look for, and then treat that page as your header footer.
Yeah.
Breaking it on the comment and enjoying.
And that's going to be the easiest way to do this, because you're kind of both requesting PHP and HTML from concrete5, but also from the CMS. So the most reliable way to get what it's supposed to look like at any one time is just to request it as though a browser were requesting.
All right, last one's a bit more subjective and exciting. Deployment process, need info. So we have a C5 site we're running on our Hellbox LAMP. We have 2 developers who are working on the site. They work locally on their C5 install and checking code when they are ready. Perforce P4. And P4, the directory structure is concrete5. My question is, what deployment tool or framework do you use to push developer changes to the dev box? And then bump. So I mean, I guess at a high level, this is how do you have a group of people work together on a concrete5 site? And how do you manage that production?
Yeah.
And there's no perfect answer for that. Concrete5 is a middleware-based content management system. It's not really a development workflow tool.
Yeah.
So all we can really do is talk about how we work. And maybe other people in the chat room have thoughts on how they work. How we work is sounds pretty similar. We all work locally on our own installs.
With Git.
We all have our own databases as well. I've heard of people working locally on their own installs, sharing a database, so you can have centralized content. Sometimes that makes sense. And then what we use Git.
Yeah, we use Git to manage the source itself, and then when it's time to actually deploy, we use rsync to push the changes up remotely. And you can do that by hand, which is what we do a lot of times, or you can write shell scripts that do that for you, so you can just write those scripts to deploy, and that's worked for us really nicely in the past. If you want to get a bit more exotic about it, you can use something called Git Flow, which is not really, all that is a set of scripts as well that are meant to use Git to manage this type of stuff. So I haven't really used it too much, but I believe it actually registers the dev boxes and things as actual Git remotes. So it uses Git to push the code up to those boxes as well. And then there are different branches for and it uses Git merging and branching to handle hotfixes and things like that. And it looked like a bit overkill for the way that we work, honestly. But a lot of people really like that. But no, there's no. That's really it's all. There's no magic bullet.
Yeah, the only the additional tricky part about that is you have to think about what you want to do with content in the database.
Yes.
So if you're, I mean, generally that's how we work. Is that we'll have development stages that we're working on here. And then we'll have a client working on a content stage that is, hosted where they can get at it. And so we're typically trying to be very sensitive about content when we push our code up. And if we need to pull content back down, that's easy to do. It only goes one way. Where you run into problems is if someone's like working on a big section of the site, they're adding a bunch of content and functionality, and now they somehow want to push from the database and the code. That's a problem. Unless your site isn't doing anything live or interactive, which actually in a larger environment is pretty common. So if you're not using guest books and forums and stuff like that where users can submit data, then you really could treat your public website as kind of like a static thing.
Yeah, both code and the database is one bundle that goes up.
Do a big push that way. Otherwise you kind of have to like push templates and then make content and then unprotect it and just kind of think about whatever it is that you're launching.
Yeah, you end up making sort of recipes for every push, which
exactly.
works well for us, but it is more of it is not just one sort of fire and you're done moment. And that, since our site is always changing and has, all the concrete5 forums and all the PRB submissions and things like that, we never are able to actually take a snapshot of the database and do that. We always have to push code and create, sometimes we'll find ourselves adding page types and things like that on the site before they're actually ready to be used. But before there's code to support them, and then when we do the push, we can start building stuff.
And then when we do the push, we're comfortable enough putting up the bridge video and saying sometimes traffic has to stop. That works for us. If that was undoable, there certainly are ways that we could get around it. They just would be a lot more time consuming and expensive.
Yeah.
All right, that is fun and for me. I think that's what we got for that. So if there's more questions that you're thinking of, that's great because we're going to get into how would you do that just in a moment.
Yeah.
So you should be thinking of those questions. But in the meantime, we need to check in on the PRB.
Yeah.
Introducing Great Choice by Greg Joyce.
All right, that's good.
Greg Joyce is in Japan. We cannot hear him. He is probably asleep. There's a choice that has been made. I believe it's a great choice.
Seems like a pretty great choice.
But that was a choice.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any clue what's going on with the PRB today?
I've been poking my head around there.
Sweet.
I can talk about it a little bit.
Let's take us through the PRB, Matt.
So we got a bunch of stuff that got approved, so I can show you through all this stuff here. Kind of do it the old way. So this is Performance Insta Image, and this is by Talicman. This is a way to display an Instagram feed on your website. All the kids use an Instagram these days.
I've heard about that Instagram thing.
Looks pretty cool.
Apparently old pictures are worth $1 billion.
Yeah. Next one is PHP Info. This is from John the Fish, and this lets you print out your PHP info so you can get an idea of how your hosting environment's set up without having to leave your dashboard.
Nice. Well, that'd be handy for people.
Yeah.
I can see myself actually
Sticking that on there, sure.
Next one's called Download vCard. This is from Labor B. Take a look at this. This lets you create downloadable vCard files.
Oh, sure. For your Home Pilot.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. Next one is Elastic Text, and this creates a responsive text block on your site and it scales fonts using the browser font size.
Nice.
So it only works in fluid width areas, obviously. You can't put it at a fixed width and have it work, but it provides a pretty cool elastic text effect.
Responsive.
Next one is Formigo Containers. This one looked pretty slick when I checked it out yesterday and approved it. It is a bunch of custom templates for the content block.
Oh, okay.
And so you can make it look like a post-it note.
Oh, I did see this one. That is fun.
Or a text bubble.
Yeah.
Cool.
A lot of nice styles in there.
That's good stuff.
Yeah. Good job with this one. The next one is Blocks by Ajax, and this lets you delay loading of certain blocks with Ajax in case you want to load your page before the block loads. So,
That makes sense to me. There's a couple of Twitter blocks that sometimes kill sites just because they're waiting on Twitter to do things.
Yeah, or they get added to a site that then takes away wget access or behind the scenes offsets,
Sure.
and then you're just waiting forever.
I wonder how that behaves with caching, but it's a cool idea.
Yeah, so this has a bunch of different custom templates that work with various add-ons already in the marketplace and stuff like that. So if you're the add-on you want to use is on the list of templates for this, this may be a solution for you.
Cool.
The next one is, I think this is actually the last one. This is a theme called Dark Wall. This is from Brian Lewis. It's a very dark theme.
Looks like a wall.
It sure does.
You know, truth in advertising, baby. That's good.
Yep, it's got some page types and such, so.
All right.
Cool.
Sweet. Well, Greg, we miss you. Hope you're having fun. Everything's going well for you. Thanks, PRV members, for all your work. That's great. Things are moving. I like it. I think it's time for how we do that.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
How would we do that?
All right.
How would we do that?
Do we have any questions?
Let's see. Well, I'm not seeing anything in the chat today. Let's see. Someone have anything for us? All that? Nothing?
Wow. All that goodness. Well, they have to pick their jaws up off the ground after all the awesome news.
Oh, I got it. We're gonna have to pay.
Yeah.
Whistle that too.
That's a good point.
Gross. Well, if you got questions,
People just can't believe the gallery block is free.
I know.
They've all run to their browsers to download it, and there's no one that's in the chat.
changing the game, man. Take that, WordPress. Well, sweet.
Yeah.
Happy to help. Got plenty to do.
Yeah. Catch up.
Sweet.
All right. Someone's gonna come in. They're gonna come in and
Just as soon as I'm like, well, never mind. There's going to be a. How would you compute prime numbers whilst parsing the Twitter feed and my Instagram setup? I'd like to post back to Flickr.
Alright, got one from Ronaldo Support. They ask, is there a simple way to send and receive values by parameter, like post or get?
what context?
To what end?
I'm gonna go out and say yes.
I'm gonna say single page. This is a whole new segment.
Yeah, where
give
it's
us
like-
part of just a couple of words from my question. To see if we can just pull in the hat and
Spin the answer wheel.
single page.
Custom template.
Awesome.
Yes.
I'm gonna say it's single page.
Yeah,
I feel good money on
all
single
right.
page. This guy's trying to build an app. He's thinking about, or a custom form maybe. He's
Yeah.
trying to build like a form.
But even
He's like,
custom
I just don't
forms are a little
understand why this is so weird. Why? And everything's through Dispatcher, and I've never seen a Dispatcher
Yeah.
before. And he just wants to post back to a page that he's on.
Yeah.
He's probably struggling with the where does a page's PHP file live thing. And needs to go read up on that FAQ how-to on the
how
single
MVC
page, how
works.
MVC works with the single pages, so you can build this app. Am I right, Matt?
Yes.
Yes!
Well, wait.
No.
Maybe not.
Damn!
He says, okay, I have many sectors and all are the same layout of the page. And you have my third database with all data.
What? Can you just read that again louder?
I'm not sure. There might be a little bit of a
Language thing there?
translation language thing. Yes.
Sectors.
Many sectors all are the same layout of the page.
Here isn't the same layout.
And you have my third database with all the data. So
Third database. I don't know.
let's see.
Yeah.
I'm confused.
I am confused.
I'm getting more confused.
Julia thinks it's just fast typing.
Fast typing.
It's probably it.
Well,
we would type slow. Well, you would not type slower.
No.
I type slower. Yeah.
Still don't quite.
Maybe take a
understand
step back and just describe the actual problem you're trying to solve. That's usually a good way to start with these things.
Yeah.
Short of getting the answer wheel together. I really do need the answer wheel for training next week. Yeah. I can use that for some of your Q&A.
Well, I haven't heard back more, but I mean, we can always.
I'd love to help.
Yeah.
I'm so confused. Still think single page, man. That still sounds like he's building some type of app. He's got some separate, or she has a separate database of some type of data that they need to bring back into part of the page. They want some type of filtered interface. They're like, I want to be able to pick a sector and get different data, which is you can build a block for that. It's probably a single page. A single page is a great model view controller type approach of building a small app within your concrete5 site. There's a great how-to in our how-to section. Well, building an FAQ application.
Possible because I feel like you're on the right. You're right there. But
of course,
it could also be completely.
I could be completely off.
Many.
I got one
Or something
from,
with layouts. Or
Yeah, no, that's what
like 1,000 layouts.
That's the other thing.
Not
That's
working
what I
very well.
started thinking.
That could be it too.
But
so many layouts, he's made an additional database to contain them.
I got one from Homer99, and they ask, what is the schedule like for the new advanced permissions release that we are planning on doing all this time?
we're
Doing good.
Yeah, we are thinking of an alpha.
Yeah.
In August,
Coming weeks.
right?
Yeah. Coming weeks.
Public alpha/beta.
Yeah. Yeah, I would think that August would be a good month for alpha beta on that. Yes, that along with the advanced workflow stuff.
Yeah.
Which we're talking with a number of folks about.
Some other niceties.
Some of the niceties, but that is all August stuff. Weeks, not months. And of course, if you want to help,
yeah, it's all
enjoy. Go into Git and tell us how it's broken.
Yeah.
Okay, John the Fish has sort of a question.
Sweet.
He asks,
sort of an answer.
do we have some ideas on how to back up a database that is so big that the host times out before it completes? In both concrete5 and in PHP
Oh
add-on.
wow! I actually haven't found that. That's pretty intense.
PHP admin.
Yeah, I mean, our database backup stuff is pretty. It's a little bit less robust than PHP MyAdmins. They're usually pretty good at.
They're just running MySQL commands, aren't they?
No, they
just doing
have their own special library for doing it, but it's
MySQL has a backup command.
Yeah, you'd probably have to do it from the command line.
Do that. Yeah.
MySQL dump and then just SFTP.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know I've done some backups that were pretty large and had to resort to the command line.
Yeah, and then zip it before you take it down because it'll save you 80% of the file.
And sort of a follow-up to that, is it possible for a concrete5 database to be backed up piecemeal?
No, not really.
Not really.
It would. Those types of tools would probably come from MySQL, so it might be possible to do something like that, but we don't.
And funky, you would not. I would strongly encourage you not to do that because because concrete5 is a framework for building websites. Tables tend to get used a lot. Many tables get used for a single piece of data.
Yeah.
Right. So if you think about kind of like a traditional application design, like, oh, we got customers, that's a table. We've got whatever addresses, that's a different table, and we just never the two shall meet except for a join.
Yeah, and then even with the join, you might be able to
back up customers. Just don't add any new customers, and we're cool. Concrete5, no, you got permissions tables and collections tables and blocks tables, and they all join to each other in many crazy ways.
Yeah.
So just backing up one, you're likely to create data meanwhile that you didn't know you needed to grab. So don't do that.
I think that handles all the questions so far. So.
Sweet. Well, thank you very much. We will not be here next week, for we've got a bunch of training to do with a fun client, so we will be all holed up here learning. but we'll be back the week after that, I think.
Yeah.
And that'll be exciting for everyone. So until then, it's been a pleasure. Keep your questions coming, and we'll see you online.
Fridays at 10 a.m. Pacific Time.